Hello guys, and welcome to the first video in this tutorial series on web development. And in this video we'll be dealing with the front end development. So front end development, as I told already, just deals with the looks or the views of a website, how your website looks and the design part of the website. So whenever you enter the world of web development, whenever you start as a beginner in web development, the first thing that every web developer needs to learn is the most basic thing, that is the HTML. So HTML basically stands for hypertext markup language. So this is basically the layout. This language is basically the markup of a website or the prototype of a website. So this is the, what shall I say, it is the foundation of every web page. Every web page contains HTML, and this is the first language that you need to learn in order to be proficient in web development. So this is the basic thing in web development. The second thing that you should learn as you progress, as you get proficient with HTML, the next thing will be the styling part of the HTML, because HTML elements are just basic text elements or tables or forms. They are not designed particularly, they are just text. So in order to style your elements, you need to learn cascading style sheets, or as they are popularly known, CSS. So basically CSS sheets are design sheets which have various elements which are listed on the basis of their classes or IDs, and you then style those elements using various keywords that are CSS keywords. And so basically when you learn CSS, what should you learn particularly? The first thing that I would say you should learn is basic CSS, and with that responsive web design. So responsive web design basically means that your web page should respond to the size of devices you are using. So basically, if you are using a mobile or a laptop or a tablet, your web page should appear differently, and this is what responsive web design means basically. So your web page responds according to your device. So this is the first thing that every web developer should learn after he has gotten a bit proficient in CSS. And the second thing then comes the libraries of CSS. CSS libraries. So libraries are basically pre-created CSS files or JavaScript files. So basically you just import these CSS files into your project. They already have the code written, the CSS code written there. You just use the class names and the ID names which are mentioned in that CSS file, and your elements will be styled accordingly to that code. So which CSS library should you focus on particularly? I would say Bootstrap and Materialize are currently the two most popular CSS libraries there are right now. Bootstrap particularly is very popular. It is probably the most used CSS library after Font Awesome. Font Awesome is just a font modification or icon library, so I have not mentioned it here, but you can check out Font Awesome at their official website. But for an overall design, I would say use Bootstrap or Materialize to get an excellent look on your website. Even Foundation is great, but it doesn't have those kind of styled elements. It is just simple design, and that is why I don't like it too much, because it is not able to give that professional feel to your website. So this is what you should learn in terms of CSS libraries. The third thing that you should learn in CSS world is the CSS preprocessors. So basically CSS preprocessors are certain libraries. We can say there are CSS libraries, or they're basically based on other languages like SAS, which is basically based on Ruby. So CSS preprocessors basically allow you to perform certain operations on CSS. Like CSS does not allow mathematical operations to be performed on element designs, but using CSS preprocessors you can perform mathematical operations on the size of elements, or color basically. You can vary the color according to a function and manipulate CSS very easily. I would say if you are learning CSS preprocessor, it's not a must. I would say if you are comfortable with normal CSS, there's not a problem, but SAS I think will be my pick for CSS preprocessors. Then we enter the world of JavaScript. This is the most important thing that you will learn throughout your web development time. JavaScript is probably the best language there is right now in the field of web development. And in the front end, there are basically 2 or 3 libraries of JavaScript that you need to learn. Basically, I would say Angular, jQuery, and React are the way to go in terms of front end development for JavaScript. Angular has this two-way data binding feature which allows you to AJAX through pages, or just reload a small part of your page without reloading the whole website. So this is a cool feature to have. React basically allows you to create HTML elements using CSS, so that is also great. And jQuery is a simple manipulation library which can manipulate HTML elements using JavaScript. So this would be it. I have marked my recommended frameworks or languages using the red color, so you can see that clearly. So these are the must learn things in front end development, and that is it for this video. Let's go to the next video, which will deal with the back end development.